think it was 15 years, 17 years, something like that. And so we'd better get used to it. And if the Dutch and the French had not have voted against that constitution that was going to bring in what Giscard d'Estaing prophesied, then he would have been spot on with the number of years he said at that time it would take to bring it in.
Right.
So they're a little bit off their time scale because of the Dutch and French vote, and now because of the Irish vote. But as I've been saying for years, Henrik, there's a simple rule with this agenda for the Orwellian state. The agenda does not take no for an answer.
That's right.
And you know when it's the agenda, because even though people have rejected something and said, no, we don't want that, we're not having that, they'll just keep coming back or ignoring those wishes or coming back for another vote or finding another way of getting round the opposition, because the agenda is the thing that matters to them. Public opinion is irrelevant. It's just the thing that gets in the way.
Yeah.
And it's the same with, like I say, with genetically modified food. It's the agenda. So they're not going to just listen to public opinion not wanting it. They're going to find ways to come back until they get it.
So
this is why we need a unified, non-violent, Gandhian-type mass campaign of non-cooperation with the system that's seeking to enslave us, because it's no good leaving it to politicians to represent us. I mean, they're next to bloody useless, and great numbers of them are deeply corrupt, and smaller numbers of them are connected to this elite anyway.
Right, and new power-hungry people come in all the time as well, right? So I mean, in a way, we need kind of an attitude change against how we perceive this. What I'm getting at is that we shouldn't believe that, okay, if we beat, let's say the Lisbon Treaty here now, things are going to settle down and we can rest again. This is almost like the agenda is like it's like the bacteria and antibodies in a human body. It's something that like an immune system. It has to continue all the time for it to work, right? We need to have a permanent kind of resistance, if you will.
Well, this is the whole situation with the true balance of power in the world. If you think about it, governments use money to impose this agenda on the people, which is money that the people have given to the government in taxation. So, in effect, the government's side of things, the side that wishes to impose this Orwellian state, has limitless funds because the people it's enslaving are funding it.
That's right.
Whereas groups and people who wish to challenge the government they fund have to fund themselves as well as funding the government they're challenging. And so you've got, with those who are challenging this, you have groups of people who meet in front rooms or meet in small halls, whereas the government has the whole edifice of government-paid administrators to daily work to push this thing forward. So the game is rigged in a most enormous way. And if we're going to try to go through official means to challenge these things, we're wasting our time, frankly, because as you indicate, you can win a few battles here and there, as with GM food, but they'll just wait and then come back with this whole administrative army to push it through, manipulation of the media and all the rest of it, while the people then have to regroup and go through again all the things they've already been through, and eventually they get worn out, and eventually they get washed over by this tidal wave. That's if we do it by doing it the conventional way. We have to do it the unconventional way. The number of people who are knowingly in awareness that they are manipulating to this end in the world is tiny compared with the 6 billion plus people on the planet, or what we're told are on the planet. So there's two things we need to do, and if we do them, and we do them with passion, and we don't take no for an answer, then this control can come down. And those two things are the communication of information at every opportunity to explain what's really going on and how the dots connect, to overcome the propaganda through the mainstream media, propaganda that is perpetrated overwhelmingly by the vast majority of journalists who themselves are clueless about what's going on and how the pieces fit.
Yeah.
And the other thing is this Gandhian mass non-cooperation with the system. Give it on a real simple level. We've had people here who've been fined hundreds of pounds for putting their wheelie bin out with their rubbish in from their home for the collectors on the wrong day. If that happened, and then every week from then on, thousands and thousands and thousands of people across the UK all put their wheelie bin out on the wrong day and kept doing it until the law failed.
Right, right.
If when we have microchipped wheelie bins, which were coming in this country, everyone or vast numbers took the microchip out of the wheelie bin and put it in the post back to the council, then it would have to change. That's right. The level at which we have to meet this, because if we go through the normal official channels, we're wasting our time, wasting our effort, and wasting our energy.
Yeah, that's definitely right, and I think that's a kind of a great way to go about it in a way. That means that there need to be, of course, a kind of a consensus or a backdrop to all of this, where people kind of unite around these certain issues, and as you say, rightly so, that this has nothing to do with race or age or anything like that. This is more like, okay, do we need this? Do we want this? Is this necessary? And if not, then unite in that area during around that topic, if you will, or around that scenario. And change it, and it's very easy when you actually think of it this way, because again, as you say, the administration that it would take to actually handle an event like this, they would crash, if not financially, if everyone were taking out the microchips on these things that we're sending them back, right?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that is holding back the end of all this nonsense is divide and rule. That people will not unite behind a common theme, a common theme of freedom for all, because freedom doesn't come in bits. Either everyone's free or we don't have freedom. If someone has a right to say what their opinion is and another person does not have the right, then there is no freedom, because the person who thinks they have the right to give their opinion does not have the right. They have the right to give their opinion because it suits those that decide what opinions are allowed and what opinions are not allowed. That's not freedom.
Yeah.
And so it's respecting everyone's right to the rights that we demand for ourselves, and being as passionate about the right to freedom of expression, for instance, of those that we don't agree with, or those that abuse us even, than as we are for the right of our own freedom of expression. That's the attitude that will bring this down. Because once you say, oh, well, it's not my problem because I'm being allowed to give my opinion, and I don't agree with that person anyway, so it don't really matter if they're stopped from speaking. That's, again, leading down the road to that famous quote by the pastor in Germany. First they came for the Jews, and I was not a Jew, so I did nothing. Then they came for the communists, and I was not a communist, so I did nothing. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I was not a